Welcome back to the CLSR, and I'm your host and counselor. And today we're going to be talking about police brutality part two. And you know that what we did was we were talking about communicating with the police in our last session and providing non committal answers, right? And, so simply put, if someone asks you why they stopped you, just reply with simple no. Don't get into the big stories. So this is important that we're not giving our police force any reasons to go excessive on us. So we're just keeping it simple and we're being quiet observers until we have to, because like I said, it's procedural thinking that we're dealing with. So we got to keep it simple. We got to get into the mind of some of them, what they might be thinking, and it's not hard. Now, what do if they bring the force to you? First, I suggest that you're going to have to gather some evidence of the incident. You may have been a victim of racial profiling, but it's equally possible for a person to become a victim of police brutality regardless of race, gender, or age. It's often difficult to prove that police brutality has occurred because police are authorized to use force when necessary. It is therefore important for you to have as much evidence as possible if you feel you've been a victim of police brutality. One form of evidence of police brutality is eyewitness. Write down the names of all witnesses of the accident or incident. Ask those witnesses if they would be willing to testify in court if necessary. Another form of evidence is pictures of your injuries. Have someone at the scene take photographs of your injuries. Most cell phones these days have cameras, so this should be easy for an eyewitness to do. A witness may also have taken a video of the incident, so ask eyewitnesses if any of them have a video recording of what has happened. And I know I'm going to be realistic, but there are certain times when you might be dealing with it when there's no one around. So that's why I said it's so important to put on record if you can on your cell phone or video. They might not know. Most of them aren't going to be aware it's recording. Set it up, put it somewhere, or whatever. Whatever. The whole point is try everything you can to get as much information as possible out of that scene, right? And if you are going to talk with somebody who is at the scene, they might be scared. They might understand about the repercussions of testifying, whatever. But at least put your phone on, record when you go up to them, so that someone says, "Oh, you know what? I saw everything. I know what they did, but I'm not willing to talk about it." Even if you record that on the phone, you know what I mean? Then that could be evidence itself. So if you are brutally attacked, seek the help of a doctor immediately. If you've been the victim of force being used against you by the police, it's also important to seek help of a medical professional, doctor or medical professionals. They can assess your injuries, provide a medical conclusion of what happened to you during the incident. This medical conclusion can then be used as evidence should the matter go to court. And you need to know that you got to do it immediately. Don't wait 3 or 4 days. I know you're going to be ambivalent. I know you're going to be thinking about it in your mind. Write down the details immediately, wherever you are. Whatever you can do to write down the details fresh in your mind. Don't let it go. I know a lot of us are told, oh, it's nothing's going to happen because of it. Still. And you might even have to get to the point where you file a police report misconduct. And I know I'm asking a lot of you to step forward for your rights, but you're going to have to. Because it's so weird, Because you're asking a police officer to give you a report on something that occurred with one of their officers, right? So I'd done that before, and I'll be real, I did, and it wasn't easy to do. Oh, you get all why. You get all these questions. Oh, why do you want to? What's the problem? That's not their business. I'm asking for the report. Whether it goes anywhere, you you get the form, and if you have to, you gotta ask for the sergeant in charge. You might have to ask for them because the ones that are at the desk might not be cooperating. Say, listen, I don't need to get into it. I'm not going to explain it. If you got a lawyer, go down and get that report. But you don't need a lawyer. Say, hey, I need to file a police report. I'd like a copy. You're going to get some pushback. Understandable, right? Because from their perspective, all you do is complain. You don't care about that. Don't put all that in your mind. File a police misconduct report. If you feel that your rights are being violated, then file a police misconduct report and make sure that you do not take a long time submitting it and who you submit it to, and make sure that you get their information. Doing so is crucial in bringing the police officer to justice if you can, if there's such a thing, but you still got to do it. Get that police report, and there are going to be situations. See, we're not going to go into the extremes, but let's just follow this along, because I know there's a lot of people would never do that. A lot of people, I don't trust them. And I can understand that, right? There, a lot of people will say, well, I ain't going to do it because it's going to make my situation worse, or I'm not going to be a rat, or you know what I mean? Oh, no. What I'm saying is there's a lot that we put on ourselves. But I do suggest that you do that, because it might not be that they're actually going to um, do too much. They might do something, but your report might be um, in addition to other reports. So let's say you do your report. You might think your report's not going to matter, but let's say you have another person who does a report. You did your report, and then all of a sudden, the credibility of the officer goes down the drain when it comes to court, when they have all these reports, right? So that just, it might not just do little things. It might end up doing something in the end that matters, where someone takes a look at it and says this is not right, or the power that they think they don't have, when all this evidence shows that no, you haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing. Your credibility's shot. And so that might help other people who have been victimized. The collaboration that you put together with other people. And I'm telling you, it does happen where there are officers who have criminal records, and they're still on the job. But like I said, when it comes to court and you fighting, you might have a really good chance. If you have a jury and they see that, this has been a pattern of behavior, you have a really good chance to work through it and beat it. And I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but we have to believe that, we can be successful. We have to stand up. And I know it's not going to be easy, and I know it's going to be scary. But this is part of the procedure, and we got to follow it. I know a lot of them don't follow it, but we have to follow it. Because, like I said, through time, right, it can make a big difference. So everything that you do to stand up for your rights is really important. So you're going to have to write the details of an incident. It's important to do so as soon as possible after that incident, so that you do not forget the details of what happened. Writing the details down will help you when you're filling out this police report. Note that you should only file a police misconduct report until after all criminal charges and civil actions have been resolved. If you file a report before that has happened, you may be revealing too much information, which could hurt your chances of success in court. However, if you were not charged with a crime by the officer during the incident, then you can file the complaint right away. To determine where to file the complaint, type police complaint followed by the name of your city in a search engine. Like, doing so should direct you to details about the office or location where you can file your report. If in your jurisdiction, the way to get a form is by calling or visiting a police station. Then avoid discussing the matter with any police officers, as they may try to indicate you into believing that your complaint does not have merit, which it doesn't matter. And I've had that happen where they even got rude, disrespectful, and I had to say certain things, you know what I mean? And it just got to the point where I just said, hey, I can't even speak to you. I need to speak to someone with some authority. Can you get me the sergeant in charge? Because the ones on the front line, they got, like I said, it's not rocket science. A lot of them don't, they're just reacting. They don't want to be looked up as, oh, we did something wrong. We're trying to protect you. You ain't trying to do nothing for me. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you have rights, don't be giving them too much information. Just make sure that, you have to take these steps and do them. Don't try to convince nobody, because they will, oh, you know what, this happened to me. Could you tell us what happened? No, I'm going to write it down and file my complaint. I'm not going to tell you, because you're going to sit up there and start telling. And then once you hear my story, then you might rip it up. Who knows? A lot of people say, "Oh, you know what? Just give me the report and I'll file it for you." You know what I'm saying? Like, to get some information when you give it in, take a picture of your report too on your phone so that hey, I submitted it. Even a video. Sorry, a lot of them don't like it too bad, right? Take that video here. I'm submitting it to such and such. It's gonna make some of the blood boil, but too bad, right? No, I'm just recording it. I'm submitting it. So if you do rip it up, you don't say that because you're going to agitate. But the truth is, be cool. But just make sure you do certain things. We have a lot of power if we exert our power. But we don't need to explain too much. That's what lawyers are there for, right? In those reports, they can read it, do what they want, but you can record it and do your due diligence, right? Use the correct forms when filing the report. Not using the correct forms and not transferring information you wrote about the incident from your own notes to the official form may result in your complaint being rejected. Make copies of your complaint and keep those copies in a secure location. Mail the complaint using certified mail so that the police cannot deny having received it. Also, send copies to your local ACLU or NAACP, especially if you're in the States, right? Those are advocates for the people, right? Just to let them know what's going on, what you're doing. It's just a backup plan. If you're in Canada, you probably got to mail it to yourself. I don't know, but they don't seem to have too much here. That's what's sad, right? And if you can, and you might have to, hire a police brutality attorney. If you intend to take the matter to court to bring the police officer to justice, it's a good idea to hire a police brutality attorney to help you fight your case. Your attorney can help you receive reimbursement for doctor fees, medical tests, emotional distress, and lost wages. To find a police brutality attorney in your area, ask for recommendation from friends or family, or type the words police brutality attorney in the search engine followed by the name of your city. Now, a lot of this is risk. A lot of this is necessary, but there are risks involved. But you can't worry about that when you got to stand up for your rights. There's going to be some anxiety going on. But I want you to get as much support in place as you can. And a lot of people will be trying to discourage you from doing it. A lot of people will say, oh, there's nothing's going to happen. But somebody's got to stand up. And that is you. And you got to stand up for your rights. And if you got to protest, you got to get together, do that. But you got to follow these certain procedures and make sure that you're covering yourself because you will encounter certain things that will put you in a situation where you don't feel you have rights and you will be scared sometimes to follow through. And that's understandable. And you will have lawyers that will tell you, oh, I don't really think you have a go to lawyers that can actually advocate for you. You see, just going to one lawyer could set you off where they're going to give you some rigmarole and they want to get paid, and you got to keep working at it. It's going to take some time. And I know that there are things about the money situation. See, like if you're in uh this country here, they got legal aid. See, legal aid is going to give you the defense, but they're not going to give you the offense. So if you've been beat up, a lot of them won't want to take it on because the truth be told, and a lot of them work with the police. Don't get it twisted. A lot of them work together on a daily basis. The crown attorneys, the defense, the judges, they all work together. And it could be good, but it could be bad too. And you know what? The point is that sometimes it's a very biased system, right? Not sometimes, most of the time. So you got to remember that lawyers, a lot of times they could shoot you down. But remember, they work for you. And when it comes to the offensive, and I know that takes money, sometimes put a little bit of money down. And you know what I mean? And try to get what you can to get the thing started, right? And then pay as you go. Don't give them all any a certain amount of money right up front. They'll like, oh, I want $5,000 down. Nah, no. You incrementally make sure they're doing their job. And remember, once you do get hired on, you make sure that they're doing what they got to do. And there is accountability offices even for them. but you make sure that they're doing. A lot of people, especially in our community, get very frustrated and they let these lawyers off the hook, and the lawyers, once they sign on, you are responsible. A lot of people like to walk away and go, oh, let this lawyer just take it up. No, 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 no. They work for you. If they choose, they work for you. And you need to know that you got to follow your case and you got to make sure that you are asking questions and you are telling them what you are expecting. And yes, they will give you a realistic view. However, if you're not comfortable with it, move on. I'm serious. I've had to let a lawyer go. I had a lawyer that actually was trying to tell me what my rights were, and I was trying to tell them that I did not agree with the way they were handling the case, and I felt that certain things were falling on deaf ears. And I thought, you know what? No, no, I'm not going to go down this road. I'm going to get a lawyer that's going to, because some of them start off strong, right? Once you get them going, they'll start off real strong. They'll act like though they're doing the best job for you, and then next thing you know, they start slipping, right? And then next thing you know, time goes by and you feel obligated to this lawyer. You got to say, listen, don't run from it, plan it. And how you plan it is you make sure that everything that you sign off with that lawyer, any evidence you give, you get copies of everything. Don't be asking, later, after you wanted to move on, can I get all that information? They're not going to they're going to give you a hard time. They'll say, no. You make sure that any papers that you sign in, evidence you got pictures of, backup copies of, because you don't know what could happen. A lawyer could get hit by a bus. You don't know. The point being is that it is your obligation to make sure that your counselor, which is your lawyer, works with you and is clear on your expectations. And you understand, and you will know if they're working in your best interest or not. See, a lot of us, unfortunately, we don't know the system. It's not easy to know the system. There's so many lawyers that'll say they'll do this and do that. Get some references, look at their record, look them up, see if they have any discrepancies in their record. And you can do that. It's online. You can check lawyers, you can check news reports. You could go into a database if you have to find out previous cases. You can go to the like in this country, you could go to Upper Canada Law, but in the States it's different. You can go to the Law Society and find out. And if anything, you can go there and ask what good lawyers there are. There are wonderful defense lawyers who are on just like legal aid, for example, government assisted programs. There's wonderful lawyers. A lot of people underestimate some of them. Some of them are overwhelmed because they got so many cases they can't do good. But there are wonderful lawyers that can do great jobs because they know the system. They're working all the time and they see it. And a lot of them aren't getting paid crazy money aside from what a lot of people think. A lot of people say, oh, lawyers are rich. Not true. Okay, not all lawyers are rich. Some of them love what they do and they give it 200%. However, you cannot just pass the ball and walk away and hopefully you'll get out. No, you got to pay attention. You got to read your case. You got to read disclosures. You got to make sure that you ask questions. These are your rights, and you got to make sure you're asserting the right. You believe it or not, a lot of the cases out there are built on precedent, which means previous cases. So there's databases to look up cases that are similar to yours, and you can talk to your lawyer about it. Do you want to be a lawyer? If you do, go to school and be a lawyer. But other than that, you can learn a little bit about your case. You can stay abreast, which means make sure you're staying on top of things. But you cannot walk away and expect them to do everything. And don't be telling them things, right? If you give them too much information, then they got to disclose it. And I'm not saying be sneaky, but don't start saying things to lawyers that, you know what, because you think that they should know it's going to. No. Give them what is real. Tell them what's up. Explain your situation. Don't try to hide too much, because if you try to hide too much, then what happens is then there could be pertinent information that they could use, right, that you've held from them, and it's hard for them to do their job. Be straight up, but don't go overboard and start getting it. Let them form their opinions based on the evidence. Don't give them too much where you start going, yeah, I did this, did that. Tell them what happened in certain details when they ask. Don't overcompensate. So it's a trust relationship, but like I said, there's certain people that go out there and start rambling off stories, and then they come up with 4 or 5 different stories. Pay attention to what's going on. That's what I strongly recommend. There are ways that you can help stop police brutality yourself. Like, police brutality is one of the most controversial issues of today, and it's ever present, especially in these recent years. And many people oppose taking action to stop unwarranted officer violence. And even more, they deny that there's a problem at all. And even in the face of such adversity, there are many things you can do to help end some of this police brutality, despite what is being said, right? You could share news stories about police brutality. When you see good quality articles about police brutality, especially those connected to recent events, share them on social media sites like Facebook and Twitter. This will help keep the topic fresh in the minds of your friends and followers. Before posting an article, double check the publisher and write to make sure it isn't a form of fake news. Make sure you post about non political things as well. That way, people don't tune you out. Talk with friends and family about police violence. When you see a natural opportunity to talk about police brutality with a friend or family member, such as after watching a related news story together, inform them of your position in as kind a way as you can. If they push back, try not to get upset and listen to what they say with an open mind. If you still disagree, tell them why without resorting to angry rants or sarcasm, right? Especially for particularly adversarial friends. Ask them why they think the way they do and how they came to their conclusions. If their reasons are poor, your questions will illuminate that. Educate others politely if the opportunities arise. Before sharing your views with a coworker or acquaintance, make sure they're comfortable talking about touchy subjects. Since you won't have the same level of trust with them as you do with close friends, focus on asking questions and looking for areas you agree with. Don't expect to change their mind in this conversation. Instead, just make sure they understand your perspective. That way, they can think about it on their own and reflect on it individually. Run a local awareness campaign with flyers, posters, and other materials. After a recent incident of police brutality, create posters, flyers, and these materials that are explaining what transpired and demanding the police department be held accountable to get the word out quickly. Pass the materials out in public places. After getting permission, put them up in colleges, community centers, and businesses friendly to the cause. Avoid using images of the actual event since it's often seen as cruel or distasteful. Instead, go with pictures showing the victim in a positive light, like a graduation photo. Simple messages like resist police brutality or we demand justice will help make your message clear and readable. Now, record police encounters, as I mentioned earlier, is so important. You have a legal right to record anything happening in a public space, including police encounters and arrests. So whenever you see a police encounter in a public space, take out a camera and record it. In many cases, civilian videos are the only form of evidence indicating officer abuse and play a crucial role in a victim's legal defense. Unless they have a warrant, police officers are not legally allowed to view or take your camera. However, if they try, do not touch the officer and respectfully deny consent. If they take it anyway, locate your local advocacy affiliation for some legal advice. If you're recording on a smartphone, try using the live streaming function on sites like Facebook. This ensures that even if the officer takes your phone, the evidence is online. Your right to record does not extend to private property, nor does it give you permission to break the law or interfere with the officer's actions. I also recommend that you donate to an activist group if possible. Look for a local or national organization focused on fighting police brutality or defending victims in court. Visit their website, and if the option is available, donate what you can to support the cause. Even if you can only afford to give a few dollars, that's a few dollars more the organization can use in their fight. You can even write some donations off your taxes, meaning they won't be used to fund the police force, right? Some popular organizations include the American Civil Liberties Union, the National Police Accountability Project, and the Black Lives Matter for more options, right? Like you can go to the website like funderforjustice.org /organizations /period, right? This is a website very informative. If they've created an official fundraising campaign, consider donating to a victim of police brutality as well. Become a member of an activist group if you have to. If you want to become a major part of social change, try volunteering at an activist organization. Look for local groups in need of on the ground or frontline volunteers, since they will typically give you more to do than national organizations. If you become incredibly invested in your volunteer work, see if the organization offers part or full time jobs. For a comprehensive list, you can go to fundforjustice.org /organizations. That website is great. Now, there are people that join the police force. We can't change things if we're not in charge of them. So if you have to join the police force to help fix the problem from the inside, do that. It just makes a better case. We need people out there. Now, there are a lot of great officers out there, but just like every part of society, there's bad parts. But this is a real detrimental thing going on because there's enforcement going on and brutality, and it's ridiculous. It's out of control. So in many cases, the best way to fix an organization is by becoming a part of it. If you are serious about stopping police brutality, try joining the force and serving as an example of what a good officer should be. Spread your message to fellow officers, and if you eventually gain a leadership position, enact changes to decrease violence and better serve. I'll tell you, we all have a family member who are police officers, and they're not all bad, but some of them, somebody's acting a fool out there, and it's part of your family too. So there's some change. If you can get inside and make some positive change, good. A lot of people, I'll never be. That doesn't mean anything. If you want to make change, you got to do things to make that change. Think about the areas in where police brutality is disproportionately affects minority groups. Recruiting more minority officers can help tamp down some of the violence. Now, I say that with caution because unfortunately we have a system where some of them get into the police and they just follow the norm, right? They just do what the people in charge do. If you're going to join the police, that's not what you're doing. That's not the reason you want to get in. Some people get in because they ain't got no other job to do. Sad but true, right? It's only one hiring, and there's a reason why they always have to hire. It's not an easy job. It is for some, but for a lot, it's very challenging. And you need to know that up front. But you don't want to join half-heartedly. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work. Not just sign on a dotted line. Talk to some. Get out there. Get someone's. See if there's an advocacy group inside of the force that's positive. That's about making positive change, right? Sign a petition if you have to. Now, you don't just have to join the police force, but that's an option. I got to give you some options, people. Sign a petition if you have to, right? Take part in protests. Protests, petitions, and other forms of political speech can be incredibly effective when dealing with issues as controversial and well publicized as police brutality. When you hear about an event, make sure you participate and spread the word to your friends and family members. For information, right, you got to get involved, right? Political events aren't just for politicians to make money. Say you say, contact local social justice groups or visit social media accounts. If you plan to take part in a public protest, prepare yourself in case a riot breaks out. You got to prepare yourself. right? Don't be doing no craziness. Prepare yourself and make sure that you know the rules. Make sure when you get involved in these events, you're very aware of your rights. Call your elected officials. Even if your representatives are explicitly against police reform, call them and let them know your thoughts. Elected officials care about what their constituents think, and if they receive enough calls in favor of police reform, they may start to change their mind. To find an official's office number, check their personal website or your government's online database of elected officials. Calls are significantly more effective than letters because they attach a voice and personality to the opinion. Elect public officials who support police reform. See, in some cases, the only way to achieve true political change is by electing new people. Vote for local, state, or district and national representatives who support things like decriminalizing minor offenses like marijuana possession, creating police commissions and civilian complaint offices, legally limiting how much force officers can use, using body cameras during all police interactions, ending profit based policing, demilitarizing the police force. There are just so many things that you could call to action on, right? Run for a local public office. Try and fix the problem yourself. If things are not getting better in your area, try running to be a local representative. Senator, city council member, or political servant. The smaller the position and elected area, the greater chance you'll have of winning. Elected politicians, even those that don't directly oversee police matters, may be able to influence local police chapters indirectly. Now, there are things that you can do. We had a good conversation on some strategies that you can take. It's just important to know that things won't change if you just sit back there watching television and listening to the news or just looking at your cell phone and hearing about it. If you're not going through it, you can still do things to help those who are going through it. You can be a supportive friend. You could help someone. You might be able to help in ways you don't even understand. You might be very good at computer and technology, and you could go to one of those organizations who are in desperate need of someone who could navigate the internet or provide services, and advice. Or you could be a lawyer who's coming up and wants to actually do some on the ground work. And you can volunteer some of your services. You could be a support person for someone who's been victimized and help them out with cooking or taking care of the kids, make sure they get back on their feet to start their lives again, who've been brutalized. Like, you could play a role, you could serve. And that's what the counselor is big about, serving in some sort of way. Commitment to people, to helping, making the situation better. Because there's always room for improvement. Always. Always room for improvement. However, things don't just naturally improve on their own. It takes some work. It's good work, but it's hard work, and we can do it. So I want you to take care. All right? And be like the wise old bird and spread the word. Okay? And remember, sometimes you're going to have to take a little bit of risk, but you're worth it.